This is again from Patreon. This is Greg Turk. Says, I'm a mental health therapist who works for a government-funded health team, mostly serving lower-income individuals. What is the likelihood / how long do you think it'll be until my role is removed due to forward policies? Keep up the good work. Okay, so this is concerning Doug Ford in Ontario. So Doug Ford, if you don't know, is the new Premier of Ontario. He is the leader of the Progressive Conservative Party, which, don't let the name fool you, is a conservative party. And Doug Ford has been screwing things up. He's been doing so much that I thought I would be able to handle it on my channel. I thought I would be able to cover all the stories because I didn't think there would be that much. But no. He was sworn in on July 1st, and there has been just an unending stream of... So let me try and pick some off the top of my head. He has canceled the cap and trade, which has led to other issues, like him having to cancel the $100 million repair budget for schools in Ontario, which, by the way, there was already a $15 billion deficit in terms of the repair budget. So we already had to spend $15 billion to catch up to where we should be. And we only had $100 million to repair these schools, and he's cut that. So that's just one. And he, another big one, he has reverted the sex education program back to 1998. So the sex ed program that really was not controversial, but the news, the fucking stupid news here made it controversial, and then made people, a lot of people think, a lot of smart people I know, made them think that there were things in that sex ed curriculum that were not there. Like teaching anal sex to 7-year-olds. That was never in the curriculum. But people think that because of the ridiculous outrage there's been over this newer sex ed curriculum where there is nothing wrong with it. So we're now back to 1998. So there's no discussion around online bullying, no discussion around sexting, no discussion around gender identity, no discussion around gay marriage. So a whole, or gay relationships. So a whole host of issues that, so the real problem here is a lot of the progressive families are going to do fine. Parents that were already teaching their kids about all these different things that are aware of what is happening in the current modern day world, we're going to be fine. But it's the kids that don't have that. The kids that have the parents who are out of touch, who are now, these kids are going to grow up not understanding what is going on. And they're going to grow up with this worldview that is literally from 1998. And when they're faced with, gay couples or gender identity, they're going to have their minds blown. And it's going to be a lot harder to then retrain those people to understand that it's okay. This is about equality. This is about understanding that just because you may not feel a certain way, just because you may not feel male when you're female, doesn't mean that other people can't, and it's perfectly fine. So there's this whole... I really didn't think it'd be this bad with Doug Ford. Now, I went off on a huge tangent here. Let me get back to the actual question. So what is the likelihood of / how long do you think it'll be until my role is removed due to forward policies? So this person's role as Greg Turk's role as a mental health therapist. Yeah, I don't know. So I could guess. Again, Ford has promised there wouldn't be cuts to healthcare, but he's already screwing things up. So there very likely will be cuts because he has promised to save money, even though his way of saving money hurts individuals that need these sorts of services the most. And then he pretends he's for the little guy, but he had inherited a business from his dad. His dad was an MPP. His father was the mayor of Toronto. Doug Ford has had every advantage in the world, yet pretends he's for the little guy. He's just like Donald Trump in that way. So he frustrates me. And it's hard to guess what's coming down the pike with him, but we're going to have to just wait and see. This one from Ruben Garcia. Did the skeptic assholes help contribute to Doug Ford changing the sex ed laws? A while ago, some said trans rights would help legalize pedophilia. Yeah, so Doug Ford, he has a contingent of social conservatives that are supporting him. And yeah, actually, the social conservatives is what helped lead Doug Ford to actually winning the leadership race to become the leader of the PCs. And ultimately, because of that, is why he eventually got, why his party eventually won, and him as leader became premier. So yeah, I think absolutely. I'm not sure if that's what you meant by skeptics, but that's the social conservatives is what ultimately spearheaded all of this. Kamali Rose, have you considered running for Ontario Premier under the NDP, or maybe even Green Party? Pretty sure the only cure for right-wing populism is strong left-wing populism, which you espouse and articulate so well. That plus you being such a cutie. Apparently, a millennial. Leads me to believe you might be the best hope for Ontario, unless May is down to make a run. One of you could be the Canadian Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. Okay, let me get to the heart of this question. Have I considered running for Ontario Premier? No. So, you may not be Canadian, but to be the Premier, you have to be the leader of a party. So the leader of the NDP right now is Andrea Horwath, and Mike Schreiner is the leader of the Green Party. They are both fantastic people, and they have been in their respective parties for quite a while. So they have earned their spot. So I would never run as the premier, because you can't really run as premier. You have to be the leader of the party. But would I run as a potential MPP in one of these parties? Maybe in like 30 years. Because, look, I enjoy what I'm doing right now. And I ran, as I said, I ran as a candidate once, and it takes up all your time. And you're always on someone else's schedule. You're always answering phones. You're always answering emails. There is so much to do all the time. You have to be educated on every issue, which can be tough because there are a lot of issues, a lot of details to all these issues. And you want to be able to actually be educated on what is going on. So it takes a lot of time to, in terms of research, in terms of answering people's questions, in terms of going to these events. It's not for me right now. Maybe when I'm older, it's something I'd want to do, but I really enjoy doing this. So not something I plan on doing. And I fully support Andrea Horwath and Mike Schreiner right now as leaders of their respective parties.